This is actually a good camera. Wow. I could do a story time since I got me a good camera. Let's do a story time. Story time. All right. So I wanted to do the story time a little while ago. Oh, I wanted to do a story time about what Mom felt about Marcello, like shortly before she left us. Okay, so to start out, when Mom first met Marcello, I had this great, oh my gosh, I was so in love with him. He was so cute too. But I'm trying to get that little flash from to be behind my head. There we go. My head big enough to block that flash. Got my little ponytail on today. So anyway, so when money oh, I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing. So when Mom met Marcello, I have been going with him for probably a little while. I don't know how long, but I was just so in love with this guy. So I wanted to let my mother meet him. Finally, she was gonna meet Marcello. So I brought him to church. My mother always was at church, like all the time. She was, if it wasn't choir rehearsal, like several different choir rehearsals, if it wasn't Bible study, if it wasn't regular church service, if it wasn't trustee meeting, and all types of, like, she was on every board you could think. She was a Sunday school teacher, and we had to go to youth church on Wednesday or Saturday mornings. It was almost every day. So if I wanted Mom to meet Marcello, I had to go. Oh, y'all see my little, I ain't see y'all giving me no little shots out for my little graduation. Let me show you. Got on my lanyard. My 2020 grad lanyard. Still rocking 2020. Because I'm proud that I finally graduated. But we're all the way in 2021 now. So, yeah. So I knew that I would have to, oh, while we off on this side note, oh, yesterday I was supposed to register. I've been trying to register for my graduation because by me graduating in August, they only do one graduation ceremony per year. So I ended up failing. I was doing everything in my might to pass and to get to graduate then last summer. And I didn't make it. I ended up failing due to the pandemic. And after that course, that was actually, I think they consider that spring. I failed during the spring. Then I get to the summer class, and they were, well, actually, I didn't fail. They gave us a choice because so much stuff was going on during the pandemic. They gave us a choice whether we wanted to go ahead and just kind of withdraw from the class where you were at and just retake it for free the next semester. So since they were offering it, you wouldn't leave with any bad grades. And I was at the point where I could have, I don't know, because the point that I was at, by it being like my portfolio thing, like it was a lot. And I was doing good, but if I didn't do good on the last thing in my interviews, then I could still fail the whole class. So I opted to just, you know, and who knows, I could have passed, but I opted to just retake it. So because I retook it, I didn't qualify for graduation, and that I had to end up canceling it, and I was going to graduate this year because it is once a year. So I'm almost about to miss that deadline, which is so crazy. So that's kind of crazy to me. I can never do anything on time. So it was this Saturday morning. It kept slipping my mind, but Money told me that, you know, graduation deadline is coming up, like, because I'm not even in tune with school anymore. It's over. I'm out of it. I'm not like keeping up or anything. But Money, by her being active in school right now, she was able to tell me, Mom, you got to go ahead and register to graduate. So I'm trying to register and it keeps telling me that it's rejected. So I have no clue what's going on. I'm emailing, trying to get in touch with my counselor. I don't even know who my counselor is now, because during before the pandemic, I had one counselor and then that counselor left and I had another one. So I don't even know if the people that I'm emailing and reaching out to are even like available. And the school is not open. Needless to say, the campus is not open. So even on the phones, like, nobody's really giving you information on the phone. I think there is this one number I need to call for like the answer center. Like I might be able to get through. I don't know. Oh, anyway, I'm sorry. I hope this is not distracting. But the whole time that you're out here, if you're not in the pool, you have to wear your mask. So please just if you could bear with me, I don't know. But yeah, so back to the story. That was like a commercial break, or that was a plug about my graduation, I guess, because y'all can show me some love, give me some shares or something as a graduation gift, some subscribers, something, do something. Your girl worked hard. Like I worked hard, like for real. Age 35 to 39. Yes. So anyway, back to the story. I knew that I had to bring Marcello to church to meet Mom. So when I did bring him, we waited through the service. I think it was a Tuesday night. It was like a Bible study. And I would always sit in the balcony. So after church, my mom she had to talk to everybody before she left church. She would not leave church and not speak to every single person, not shake and hug every single person's neck, because she always used to say, you never know when you're going to see that, if you're going to see that person again. So, and she would always say, God's willing, I'm going to do this, God's willing, because she just said she never knew. So when you would go to church with her, just be ready to wait until everybody going out the church, because she's not leaving till she greets everybody. So I'm like, okay, I could bring him down to meet her. I brought him down. I was nervous already. So I bring him to her, and Mom, this is Marcello. Marcello, this is my mom. And she just like looked at him and was like, hi. And then that was it. I was like, oh, Mom, you're not gonna, like, it was no interaction. She just went back to greeting all her, all the church members and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know what to do. She wasn't feeling Marcello. He had the dreads, and she thought that I just went with what they called thugs back then. Like I guess if you seen my resume, maybe if you seen my resume of people that I dated, you might think that I just went for thugs, but it's not. It's not. I do remember she used to, back in the day, they had this place called the Tupperware Center here in Florida. I don't know if it was in Orlando. If it wasn't in Orlando, it was probably like further out. And on Sundays, you know, they always had them church plays. Now, the only person that made them church plays big was Tyler Perry. But before Tyler Perry, they had so many church plays. And I remember one time, I went to see one called Why Do Good Girls Have Wait, what does it say? Why do good girls? Oh, it said, why do good girls like bad boys? Through this, and I still remember the little song they were singing. It was, why do good girls like bad boys? And it's crazy. Every single time they would sing that song, she would look over at me like, Keita, And I'm like, Mom, what? She kept nudging me every time they would say something. But yeah, so she thought that she classified him as a thug. He wasn't. He wasn't. Like, he had like the dreads, he had the baggy pants, but that was just the outer appearance. But him personally, he wasn't no thug. That wasn't what he was into. And but that's what she seen on the outside. So she wasn't into him at all. It wasn't until I ended up having my daughter that I guess she was like, no, he needs to come talk to us, and he hasn't talked to the family. And I'm like, well, I did try to let you meet him before all of this, but you didn't, she didn't want to meet him. I do have a picture of them together. I do have only one picture of Mom and Marcello. I'm gonna put it up right there. Oh, you can't see my finger. Okay. It ain't gonna be like that. It's gonna be up there. I'm gonna put it up like right there. That's the picture of Mom and Marcello. That's the only picture that I do have. I had a whole book. It may have been more, but I can't find where that book is that I had when my daughter was born. But so that was the relationship. So when he went to jail, I already told you what she said when he went to jail. She was like, you just got to move on with your life. And I thought that was so harsh and this and that. So, and then when I would go try to go visit him, I remember one time it was the most happening. If you know me now, you know the most is always happening in my life. So this time I was trying to go see him. And back then, long time ago, to go to a prison to visit, you would have to print out. Now, this is going to tell you how long I've been a prison wife. I used to have to go print out MapQuest directions on a piece of paper. That is how long I have been a prison wife. Like, help me, somebody, help me. It's been too long. But it's been since you had to print directions on MapQuest. That is how long I have been a prison wife. Actually, do I have to have my mask like up like that? Because everybody else, I think if you're 6 feet apart, because this is weird. Are y'all okay? Like, let me see. I'm 6 feet apart from them. Like, nobody's around me. Because how am I going to tell this whole full story like that? Okay, yeah, but nobody's around. Everybody's far away. I think you have to be 6 feet away from everybody. I'll leave it like right there. So, yeah, so it was crazy. And that day, the MapQuest, the printer, like everything works against me when I'm trying to do something. The printer just kept, you know, that little clicking sound when the thing is trying to adjust itself and it just clank, 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 doing stuff like that. And the little thing is rolling, like going back and forth, but it's making like, y'all know how printers are. If you're a graphic designer, you know how printers are. Like, they be acting like they are possessed. Like, they just do the most when you have something to print. So the printer wouldn't work and I couldn't get the directions, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And I get to a point where it feels like I'm almost like I want to cry. And so she was like, Keita, get out of here. I don't want to hear that whining. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not whining, but I just wanted to go see him. That was so crazy. And she was like, get out of here, girl. I don't want to hear that. You up here crying about it. But that was how she was. And then, like, back then, she would get mad, like, when I would go see him. So I would, when it was time to go visit him, I never let her know that I was going right until right the weekend that I'm going. Like, basically when I'm about to get on that road. Well, usually when she seen that rent-a-car, because back then I didn't have a car that was good enough to get on that road. So when she seen that rent-a-car, that meant that I was going to go see Marcello. So Oh, that's the little wristband. They put a wristband on your arm when they check your temp, after they check your temp. So, what was I talking about? Oh, trying to go see him. So yeah, she would get mad when I would go try to see him and stuff like that. So I just didn't let her know until it was like basically I'm pulling off. But she would see that rent a car because I always had to go rent a car and stuff like that. So when she seen that, she knew what time it was. So that was the relationship. And it was always like when I would go to church with her, I used to ride with her to church. And it wasn't until she would just start asking me, like as soon as I got in her car, it was like on cue, she'll start asking me about Marcello. And I'm like, I never wanted to have conversations with my mom about Marcello because I didn't know how she felt about him. And I try to avoid stuff. I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to hear nothing bad. I didn't want to hear nothing negative. You don't want to hear the same old thing that we always hear. Like you're wasting your life and you're doing this. And what do you think? Do you think he would do the same for you? You're going to hear the same things. And I'm sure if you're a prison wife, I know you heard these same things. So I didn't want to hear it. So I didn't bring it up. I didn't mention it. I did nothing. But every time I would ride to Bible study with her, Marcello seemed to be the topic at hand. I'm like, Mom, please. Like, I would try to just, get off that topic really quickly and bring up something else. So that's how it went. It got to the point where I stopped riding to Bible study with her because I wanted to avoid those conversations about Marcello. Like, basically, Kita, when are you going to move on? When? Like... And she would always ask me, Kita, because I told her that he had to do 10 years. Because that's what they told me. They was like, oh, he has a minimum mandatory of 10 years. So that means that he has to do 10. And after 10, it could be any time in between. But we find out later that was a lie. That was a lie from that public defender. No, it wasn't that. But I thought that the first 10 years of the sentence, I thought we just had to get through 10 years. And I could do a different story time about that. But needless to say, it was not just 10 years. It was more than that. As you can see, it's almost going on 20 years now. So, she would always just question, when is he coming home? And me being sarcastic, I kind of think I'm funny. Like, I can come up with quick, like, off the top, sarcastic, like, jokes. So anytime Mom would ask me, when is Marcello coming home? I'd be like, well, he coming home when Jesus come back. Do you know when Jesus coming back? That's when he coming home. Like, that's what not in no disrespectful way. I did not disrespect my mother, but that's what I would literally say. When Jesus come back, that's when he coming home. So, it was so crazy. So, end up right before, like a little bit before she did pass, I would say a little bit before she did pass, I don't know, we were having some conversation in her room. I really don't know what it was about, but the conversation you have to have with your parents. If anything happens to me, then this, and this. And me, I'm trying to block it out. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hear it because nothing's happening to you. I'm like, not even real. I'm listening because you're forced to, but I don't want to hear it. And she asked me, she was like, Kita, when is Marcello coming home? And I'm like, I don't know, Mom. When Jesus come back, that's when he coming home. When, do you know when Jesus coming back? That's when, And she had said, she was like, Kita, he's not coming home. Like, she said his mom's not doing nothing. Nobody's not doing nothing to try to help him home. I was like, Mom, I don't know. Ain't nothing happening. And I said, honestly, I've already waited too long. It's been too long. And I was saying basically, like, Mom, I didn't want to go through it. I feel like now already crazy because I thought it wouldn't be this long, and I thought it was gonna be 10 years and this and that. And here we are all this time later. And she was like, oh, you got a teenager now. Money's going to be a teenager soon. Like, how does that feel? And she was like, she got to the part about Marcello. And she was like, when is he coming home? His mama's not trying to do anything to get him home. Like, somebody should do something to try to get him home. How long does he have to stay there? And I said, Mom, I don't know. I done already waited too long. And she was like, you know what, Keita? Oh, before I tell you that, she went and she was like talking about my sister. And she was saying, yeah, I always knew I was going to get all my grandchildren from, you know, my sister. And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not. It's not too late yet. I was in my mid-30s. It could be too late now. But it wasn't too late back then. I was like, it's not too late yet. You might get another grandchild from me. And she was like, I think I'm going to get all my grandchildren from her, from my sister. And she said, with Marcello, she said, I think you're going to wait. And I said, no, Mom, it's been too long. It's already been too long. She said, no, I think you're going to wait to the end. That was the last things that she said concerning Marcello. And shortly after, which I really think it was like the next week, it could have been the same week, she passed away. She said her last words about Marcello was, she thinks I'm going to wait till the end. So, what is the end? Anyway, I just wanted to tell that little story. Story time. All right. Thank you guys for listening. It's your girl Cadillac. And let me get back to editing now. It's your girl Cadillac.